Dear students, due to the COVID-19 situation, classroom teaching is not possible. Therefore, we will be having the virtual classroom from this video onwards. Today, we are starting with the 7th paper, that is the taxonomy of angiosperms. This paper deals with the characteristics of the angiosperms, its origin, evolution, then classification, and then few families for the study. Today we are starting with the first topic, that is the characteristic of the angiosperms. Angiosperms are the dominant plant groups in this recent era. Today we see the angiosperm plants everywhere. So whatever the flowering plants which are having the beautiful flowers, here we can see in the first slide the glory lily flower. So such beautiful flowers, wherever you find, that plant is nothing but the angiosperms. Angios means closed and the sperms means the seed. That means the plants whose seed is inside the fruit or which is enclosed inside the fruit, it is said to be the angiosperms. Now we are starting with the characteristic of the angiosperms which make them different from the other plants. Now the first thing we are dealing with is the flowering organs. So the flower is nothing but the reproductive part of the angiosperms which is meant for the sexual reproduction. So this flower is having the accessory as well as necessary whorls. So having such kind of the flower which is having accessory whorls, where one of the whorl is very conspicuous, brightly colored, and other accessory whorl is calyx, which is green in color, or sometimes it is colorful. And therefore such arrangement of the flower where there are two kinds of the whorls and these are arranged on a common platform which is called as thalamus. So such kind of the flower where all the parts, that is the whorls, are arranged in the concentric circles. Therefore these are called as whorls. So such arrangement of the flower is not found in any other plant groups. Moreover, the nature of the flower in case of the angiosperms is very condensed. If you see the flower or the strobili of some of the gymnosperms, we do not find such kind of condensed structure. So therefore the flower of the angiosperm is unique in many sense, and therefore it is a peculiar feature of the angiosperms. Next we are dealing with the anther. So if you see in this picture, you will find there are the stamens, and the stamens are having the such brown colored anthers. So if you see it carefully, there are two lobes. There are two lobes of the anther. So here you will find that this is the one lobe and this is the another lobe. Now each lobe of the anther is having the two pollen sacs. So this kind of the structure is unique for the angiosperms. You will not find the microsporophylls or the microspores which are having the two lobes, and that too inside it having the two pollen sacs, and therefore it is a very unique structure for the angiosperms, which make them different from the other plant groups. Next, we are having the pollen grains. Now, if you see in the first image here, you will find different colored some things are there. These are nothing but the pollen grains. So you will find that the pollen grains are having the different shape, sizes, and a different kind of the sculpture. If you see the structure of the pollen grain, you will find that the exine, that is the outer cover of this particular pollen grain, is thick, while the intine, it is very, very thin. So the exine is having the various sculpture, or it is various design. Sometimes it is having the spines, sometimes it is having the entire or the smooth color, smooth nature of that particular exine, and sometimes we are having the lines on the exines. So these lines and the spines make them adapted for specific kind of the pollination. So therefore the exine is thick, intine is thin, and then there are two cells inside it. One is the vegetative cell and another one is a generative cell. So this generative cell then is leading to the formation of male gametes. So here the specificity of the angiosperm is that the pollen grains are liberated in two cell stage. So there are only two cells inside the pollen grains. So the pollen grains are liberated from the anther in two celled stage. While in case of the gymnosperms, the pollen grains are liberated in three cell stage. So that is the specificity of the angiosperms. Now we'll move on to the next, that is the development of female gametophyte. This we have dealt with in the first year itself, in the second paper. So here again we are having the same example here. So inside the embryo sac there is a nucellus. So this nucellus is having the one of the cell towards the micropyle, which is turning into the megaspore mother cell. So this megaspore mother cell towards the micropylar end inside the nucellus, then it enlarges and it forms the megaspore mother cell. Then it divides by the meiotic division and forms these cells in the linear tetrad. So these cells are arranged in linear tetrad. That means here instead of usual tetrad, here it is the usual tetrad. After the each meiotic divisions, whatever the cells are formed, these are formed or these are arranged in linear usual tetrad. Here you can see here the four cells are there, 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth cell is behind. So instead of forming into the usual tetrad, here the cells are arranged in a linear tetrad, one above the other. Now here there is a specificity in different species of the angiosperms of which among the four cells in this linear tetrad will turn into the next, that is the megaspore. Here in this case here we can see this lower cell has a prominent nucleus while the three are generative. So in the case of this particular diagram, we will find that here the lowermost cell will turn into the megaspore, and then megaspore will turn into the next, that is the embryo sac. And here also there is a uniqueness. You will find that the embryo sac is having the 7 cells and 8 nucleated structure. There are 7 cells and 8 nuclei and therefore it is also a uniqueness in case of the angiosperms. So in case of this, what is the uniqueness? Here the cells after the meiosis, they are arranged in the linear tetrad, and then there is a 7-celled and 8-nucleated structure in case of the embryo sac. So that is the uniqueness of the angiosperms. In case of pollination, you will find there are different kinds of pollinations in case of angiosperms. So anomophily, entomophily, and next is keratorophy and ornithophily. So these are the 4 types of pollinations. So in case of anomophily in angiosperms, the wind is pollinating the pollen grains. So it is very common. This process is also common in the gymnosperms. But in case of gymnosperms, other types of pollinations are not present. Only anomophily, that is the wind pollination, is present. You can see here a person is standing just beneath the pinus tree, and here it is tapering the twig, and then when he is tapering the twig, you can see here cloud of the pollen grain is liberated outside, and you can see number of pollen grains are liberated from the male cone. So this is a phenomenon found in the gymnosperms. But in case of the angiosperms, the plant is utilizing other than the wind for the pollination. So here plant is utilizing the insect in case of the entomophily. In case of the keratorophy, here plant is utilizing the bat for the pollination. So you can see here bat is eating up the flower, and therefore these flowers are pollinated by the bat. In case of ornithophily, here the pollen grains are liberated by the birds, or pollen grains are transferred from the one flower to the next flower by the birds. So here you can see the hummingbird is eating up the flower. In the process of doing it, here it is pollinating the pollen grains. So that is also a uniqueness in case of the angiosperms. In case of the angiosperms, pollen grains are deposited on the stigma. You can see here the stigma, green colored line, and here the pollen grains are deposited on the stigma, and here stigma provides them the watery fluid for the germination. So pollen grains are first deposited on the stigma, first thing, and they are germinated inside that particular stigma, and therefore here germination is indirect, and also the pollination is indirect. But in case of the gymnosperms, you will find here there is a cycas ovule. I have drawn here the cycas ovule. You will find that there is a red colored dotted segment or the portion which is called as the pollen chamber. Now this pollen chamber is storing the pollen grains for temporary period. So the first thing is the pollen grains are deposited directly on the ovule. There is no stigma here. So the pollen grains are directly deposited on the ovule. Therefore there is a direct pollination. In case of the angiosperm, there is an indirect pollination. Second thing is that here the pollen grains are germinating directly inside the ovule, while here the pollen grains are germinating on the stigma outside the ovule. So that is the difference between the gymnosperms and angiosperms, and most important is the angiosperms are having the stigma for the receiving of the pollen grains as well as for the germination of the pollen grains. Next we are having the male gametes. So in case of the angiosperms, the male gamete is in the form of 2 nucleus, therefore these are called as male nucleus. So there are 2 male nuclei here, you can find here this one and this one. So there is no sort of cellular appearance for the male gamete. In case of the gymnosperms, it is also a seed plant. Therefore, we are taking the example of the gymnosperm here, or we are comparing the characteristic of the angiosperms with the gymnosperm so as to understand. In case of the gymnosperm, we will find that here the male gamete is cellular, and moreover it is having the cilia, small hairs for the locomotion. So pollen grains are stored here in case of the gymnosperm in pollen chamber, where they can swim for a while. There is a watery fluid inside the pollen chamber, and therefore they can swim for a while inside the pollen chamber, and they can settle down. So here it is for the movement of the male gamete. So the spermatozoid of the Psychoscetes, so it is having the cilia, and therefore it is motile. But in case of the angiosperms, the male gamete is non-motile and it is not a cellular structure. Therefore it is a uniqueness of the angiosperms. Next, we will find here the double fertilization. So the double fertilization is a specialty of the angiosperms. You will not find the double fertilization in any other plant group. So there are two male nuclei, already we have seen here, and one of the male nuclei fuses with the polar body. So you can see here two nuclei are here. So these two nuclei are forming the one cell. It is said to be the polar body, and then the triple fusion takes place in this case. So here we will find here three nuclei. So here the triple fusion takes place. So this triple fusion leads to the formation of primary endosperm nucleus, and this primary endosperm nucleus then form the endosperm, and then one of the male gamete fuses with the egg here, and it is forming the zygote. Here it is a green colored zygote, and here pink colored endosperm kind of a cell or endosperm which is just forming. So therefore double fertilization is the uniqueness of the angiosperms. Next we are having the endosperm. So endosperm is nothing but the tiffin provided by the plant to the baby plant. So having the presence of the endosperm is also unique in case of the angiosperms. So chiefly the endosperm is present in monocots. In dicot also it is present. Here we are taking the example of the maize plant. So if you see the maize plant, you might have eaten the maize, that is the maize seeds. So the upper portion is endosperm, it is the pericarp, and then this is the germ, or it is the embryo. So this is the embryo proper, and this is the endosperm, and here having the presence of the endosperm is the specialty of the angiosperms. Next, if you consider the anatomy, you will find that here angiosperms are having the specific cells for the conduction of the water. These are called as vessels. You can see here the vessel is there. The bigger cell, it is very broad. You can see here the perforation plate, and here also you will find that this is also a vessel which is having the unique thickness, that is the annular thickenings inside the vessel. And this is also a vessel. So having the presence of the vessel is the characteristic of the angiosperms. And moreover, you will find that in case of the gymnosperm, we are not having such kind of broad vessel or the broad cell, and therefore it is the specialty of the angiosperms having the presence of the vessels. Vessels are also called as pipeline of the angiosperms, where the most of the water is transported by the vessels. Now we turn to the phloem. So the phloem is also unique in case of the angiosperms. Here the sieve tube is there. Sieve tubes are here, and it is having the sieve plate. So the sieve plate is having the very small pores, and you can see here the cross wall which is having the very small pores, and it is here, it is in a broad view, it is depicted here. So this sieve tube is also having the association of the companion cells. So always there is association of the sieve tubes with the companion cells. This is the specialty of the angiosperms. In case of the gymnosperms, we do not find such kind of the such kind of phloem cells arrangement. Next, we are having the leaf. So in case of gymnosperms, we are always comparing here. Again, I am telling you, we are comparing the gymnosperm with the angiosperms, because here the gymnosperms are also the seed plants, but uniqueness of the angiosperm can be understood only if you compare the angiosperm with the gymnosperms. So here in case of the gymnosperms, we are finding here, this is the cycas plant. So we will find here there are two kinds of the leaves. You can see here the small brown colored leaves. So these are nothing but the scaly leaves, and the green colored leaves, foliage leaves. Scaly leaves are for the protection, and the foliage leaves are for doing the photosynthesis. So there are two kinds of the leaves in case of the gymnosperms, but in case of the angiosperm there is only one type of leaf, that is the foliage leaf. There can be different shape sizes of the leaf, or there can be different appendages at the base of the leaf, but there are only one kind of a leaf, that is the foliage leaf. In case of some angiosperm plants such as the onion, we will find these scaly leaves. So that scaly leaves forms the sort of the onion bulb, and therefore that is the only exception. But most of the angiosperm are having the only one type of leaf. So here we finish the characteristic of the angiosperms. I hope you have understood all the characteristic.